Hello, common people. We are jumping right into ignoring your reality. Is it possible? Part 2. I just finished the podcast, part 1, and uploaded it on YouTube as well. And at the end of that upload, I went in pretty hard on how you cannot ignore your reality, but how to come face to face with it, write it down as fact, and then pivot over to like a pro and cons list. You have a fact list. Like, for instance, I have no money, but the truth is, and the truth comes from the divine that lives inside of you, from the God that lives inside of you, that money actually flows easily and consistently. So that's the truth. The fact is you don't have money, but the truth is money actually flows easily and consistently. So you're going to write those facts down. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go ahead and I got pretty fired up at the end. That's why I'm jumping right in to do a second one, a follow-up or continuation. But I don't want to repeat everything I just did. So it was really fun those last few minutes because I get a little, at the end of the day, we attract who we are, not what we want. You can go and do your daily affirmation. I am beautiful. I am rich. I am wonderful. I am all those things. But if you are not really accepting that, if that's not really your state of being, you can say it till the cows come home and you're still going to be broke tomorrow. So we need to talk about how to, get real and we cannot ignore the reality. You ain't got money, you got money, and I can look away and pray and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you're going to stare at those facts until they are no more. So go ahead and watch that over at the, it's Ignore Your Reality, part 1, Common Girl Creations podcast, follow up with 2. We're doing part 2 right now. As I mentioned in part 1, I got really fired up over the last 48 hours listening to a gentleman named Tom Caron, Kearin, and from Be Something Wonderful. If you haven't found him on YouTube, I highly, highly recommend. Over the last year and a half, with everything I've learned and everything I've read and all the greats, Tom's going to be one of those greats if he's not already. I just found him, so he may be new to me, but not to you. And I just love his, where he just brings back facts to the, facts to the truth, and really backs it up with scripture. So really love that. On top of that, I spent some time listening to Joshua Tongol, Tongol, a shout out to him. Now, a couple of his videos I watched, I didn't realize they were done 2 years ago, so I hope he's still on YouTube. I did not deep dive into that, but I just love his tone, his delivery of the message, and he's the one who inspired me to do the fact versus truth situation on how to ignore the reality without ignoring it. Tom Caron kind of backs all of that up with, you can't ignore it. You got to go right to it. This also will go online. You've heard, or you may not have heard, I apologize, but how we should work on our self-concept. Well, that self-concept is basically our state of being, and that work on self-concept takes you back to the beginning and walks you through every event in your life that had an impact, positive or negative, and how that shaped you into your decisions today, and how a lot of that comes from your genes and your environment and your upbringing, and your mommy loved you, your daddy loved you, your mommy didn't love you, your daddy didn't love you. And I'm not making light of that, but that's just a lot of work. And what I tried to do in the last podcast is, a lot of us are just done. We're tired. We want some change now. And I really believe that, giving it the attention it's due until it's gone will really expedite change in your life. It becomes ridiculous after a while, right? I ain't got no money. Okay, how long are you going to say that? Because money, truth is, flows easily and consistently. So let's go follow that rabbit trail and start improving our life. And we'll talk about that in some upcoming videos. Right now, I want to continue on ignoring your reality and changing that state of being, your perception, and also really changing your reality. And you can do this within 3 days. This doesn't have to take a long period of time. So make sure, by the way, you like, share, subscribe, hit a bell icon. Oh, that's YouTube. Podcast, just like it, share it, and let's get these downloads going. All right. I don't do it for the downloads. I just do it because it's good information, and it's going to help at least one person. I know it helps me by doing it. Okay, so we are talking about ignoring the reality. We've actually dove into reality. Now, how do we ignore, when we're talking about ignore the reality, we're talking about our own circumstances right there, as far as personal, your own personal finances, your health, your well-being, your relationships. But how do we change others that are in our reality? Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's just somebody you're attracted to, maybe it's somebody you want to get to know, maybe it's a boss, a coworker, your children. We're constantly having, the day-to-day butting heads. It's not helping you. It's just something, it's just not working for you, So how do you make decisions and whether go or stay or work on it, or what exactly are you working on? And one of the facts about yourself was, if you wrote down you're feeling like you're in an unhealthy relationship or toxic relationship, that's very different from, or an abusive relationship, that's very different from being unfulfilled. One is life-threatening, mental health-threatening. Those situations, you leave, period. You leave. I don't care if you have kids. I don't care what you do. You find a way out. Remove yourself from the situation till you can shore yourself up, get the things that you need, the support around you to move forward. But if you're in a dangerous situation, and again, that's mentally, emotionally, physically, remove yourself and your loved ones from that situation. I know it's easier said than done, but reach out to friends. Let this be your sign. If you're looking for a sign, go. But make sure you have the support to do that as well. So when we're talking about more of an unfulfilled relationship, maybe it's just that uncertainty. It just isn't, it just doesn't have all those feel goods. It hits on about 3 spots, but the other ones you could do better, and you're not really sure what to do about it. So we're going to talk about, how do you change? We already talked about just redirecting your own thoughts and awareness from I have no money to guess what money flows the truth is, and that is the truth. And what you're doing when you make that transition is you're deciding to, when you're seeing things in a negative light or unfulfilled light, you're seeing it through your own filter. You've heard the comment, looking at things through rose-colored glasses. Well, we are seeing them through the filter of our state of being. So if our state of being, and I talked about in the last podcast, is that of unworthiness, that of lack, that of uncertainty or insecurity or lack of confidence, if that's our state of being, then everything we see is through that filter. Okay, so it's all going to be shaded. It's going to be discolored. It's going to be off. It's not as, what you want to do is you want to know and you want to see things as God sees them, as Source sees them, as the power within you sees them. Why is that? Because if the other practice worked, turning facts and paying attention to the truth, that truth is coming from your source. And if it's true about you, why wouldn't it be true about looking at somebody else or an external, another person? So, for instance, you're looking at somebody with the eyes of insecurity. You're feeling insecure. You're feeling not very good about yourself. You're feeling unworthy. Maybe you don't feel pretty enough. Girls never feel like we lose enough weight. Hair color, I don't know. Boobs look weird. I don't know. Guys have that too. But when we look at them through our own insecurity, from our state of being, what that does is it causes you to look at them almost in a jealous stage, maybe jealous of them, jealous of other women that look to him. I'm just using this for females because I'm a female and I'm relating. Maybe you feel like all of a sudden now you're judging him because he's looking at, you perceive that he's looking at females a certain figure or look a different way than he looks at you. All of a sudden you become this jealous, neurotic woman and you don't trust him, and it's all coming from your own personal insecurities because he actually hasn't really done anything wrong that you know of. You just know it's making you feel weird, and And again, I'm not talking about the people who are just blatant, like treating you like garbage. Actually, I am. The people who treat you like garbage. Somebody's treating you like garbage, something within you that's attracting that. And so you need to do some work and figure out what that is. So you have control of that. But let's take away the filter of insecurity and not feeling enough, and let's put on the filter of divinity, divine eyes, the divine eyes of God. And let's look at that exact same situation with the eyes of God, of infinite love, compassion, security, confidence. Look at the same situation, and do you not have a different perception of that person? You have to. You have to. It's different eyes. When you're frustrated with your kids, who hasn't been there, raising my hands, trying to help them with their homework or with behavior issues, and they're just not listening, they're sassing off, and they're doing this, and you're just, you're just losing control. If you're not doing it outwardly, you're doing it inwardly. And that's a state of being, of feeling out of control, of feeling as if they're going against you on purpose. They're purposely hurting your feelings. You're taking it personally. And now let's look through that situation with divine eyes. And let's apply some compassion. Let's apply some unconditional love, real, okay? And let's look at that situation. He probably really hates the subject. Number one, my kids gave me grief. They hated the subject. I get it. Didn't like it. Hated math. That's fine. And so they're going to give pushback after pushback. I'm not saying let them off the hook. See, you're not telling them to change their behavior, okay? When you look at them through your filter, you're asking them, change your behavior so I feel better so you can get stuff done. And you're playing that action, active, reactive, and you're just going back and forth. It's any argument you ever have. That's all you're doing. You're trying to maintain control and get your point across, and they're butting the system. And you're like, no, this is how it is. This is what you need to do. But take that away, because you need to be in control, because your state of being is feeling out of control, feeling weak, feeling vulnerable, feeling as if you're going to fail them as a parent if they don't do it this way or do it on time. And again, I'm not saying that you change them, okay? Change the eyes, use your divine eyes, and now your reaction will be very different to them. And because you're coming from that place, I guarantee you their reaction will be different. And if it's not, your reaction will be. And it's going to take a very heated situation, very frustrating situation, and bring it down a couple notches. So then you can get in their face and you just look little Jimmy in the eye and like, look, I hate math too. Got to do it. Let's get it done, buddy. What do we got? Let's do it. Let's just do it, okay? And we'll walk you through it. We'll help you out. Now, there are those parents that parent differently, and like they're going to do it by themselves, and you learn it by themselves. That's fine. Kids just won't do that. But you keep butting your head against the wall, but I'm telling you, they won't do it. They will do things easily and excitedly when they like it. If they don't like it, they're going to tell you they don't, and they're going to fight you tooth and nail. So you've got to come at it with divine eyes. I promise you, it'll save years of therapy on your kids if you do it now. It'll save you tons of days and weeks of feeling like you're an inadequate parent, because you know after you get mad at them, they go to bed, and then you're laying there, oh my God, I was just so mean to them. I was just so, and maybe you weren't that parent. Maybe you're just so kind and loving and the gentle, loving person, whatever. I could literally stab somebody with a pencil when I get that mad. I've never done it, so don't report me, and my kids are grown and all very successful. So having said that, divine eyes. And again, it sounds silly, but when you're in these tense situations, one of the best things that can happen is you break the tension. And so if you find yourself in a moment, again, I'm using homework with children. Maybe it's in an argument with your spouse. Maybe he didn't cook dinner correctly, or didn't cook it at all. Or maybe he forgot something at the store, or she forgot something, or she didn't. I don't know what the situation could be. Just pick one. Pick any situation you recently went through. And if you can honestly tell me that if you looked him through the eyes of source, divine eyes, meaning with unconditional love, compassion, all this goodness, would you have reacted the same way? Esther Hicks channels Abraham, and she says this: when you look at a baby trying to walk, and he gets up and he falls down, he gets up and falls down, do you look at the baby and say, "Get up, you little dummy"? No. Why? You have compassion for the child. You know that they're learning. You know it's going to take time. You know it's growing. You know that you're learning together. And if you do tell them to get up, you little dummy, you might need some therapy and you need to stay away from children. I'm just saying that. But it's just like that. It's like that, I promise you. When you have a meeting with your boss and it may not feel like it's going the right way, remove your own insecure state of being and your need for being right, because you're just defense. That's defending. I'm defending my state of being. I'm defending the fact that I feel I'm not confident. I'm defending. Why would you defend that? And look at it through divine eyes, and your conversation will go very differently, because it changes your perspective. If it changes your perspective, it changes your reaction. And the biggest thing you can do, and it will happen naturally the more you do it, but I promise you, if you start practicing now, within 3 days, you're going to have 3 days. We're not talking 30 days. Okay, 30 days, you're a master. Within 3 days, try it and prove me wrong. Okay, just prove me wrong. Divine eyes. Divine eyes. I don't care. Get a funny pair of glasses to remind you. Break the tension with some humor if that's what it takes. But if you're in that desperate state, I have to try something, divine eyes is your answer, okay? Because what's going to happen when you do that? One, it's going to bring temperature way down. And then you're going to get more of a thought of, or a feeling of, indifference. Indifference does not mean you're allowing somebody else to misbehave. It does not mean you're allowing somebody else to mistreat you. What happens is you're looking through those divine eyes and you're allowing the situation to happen. You're not ignoring it. And you are choosing consciously not to overreact. You are choosing not to react at all in some situations. Some situations, when you use these magical divine eyes, it's not even worth saying anything. And you walk away and you remove yourself. And what does that do? It changes your 3D reality immediately. Where had you stayed and continued to look through your filter of fear, your filter of uncertainty, your filter of vulnerability, would have just escalated and escalated and escalated. And then you go, my reality is hostile, angry, disappointing. Divine eyes, you don't even have the situation. You're not even in it anymore. So I want you to try this, okay? We started with, and you can take 3 days, do one each 3 days, I don't care. The first one was, you need to pay attention to your facts, write them down. I got no money, unfulfilled relationship, hate my job, kids are making me nuts, I got anxiety and depression. These are all facts, provable facts. What's the truth? I am health, I am wealth, I am what my source says I am. Money flows consistently. Did you know if money flows consistently and easily? Have I mentioned that? Did you know that? What's not for you? Maybe you should look into that. Okay, you change your path. Instead of just sitting there, I don't have any money, I don't have any money. You change your path. You change your reality immediately. Okay? Now you're going to back it up. Step number 2 is divine eyes. Get in a situation. And again, if you can head it off at the past, now, has you ever been driving home from work or driving home, you want to pick the kids up from school, you hear them walking in, and there's a feeling of dread? Sorry, kids, if you're listening. Sometimes parents feel dread when they know they have homework and soccer and everything else going on. Instead of dread, divine eyes. And put on some divine eyes and try seeing them through the source that lives within you. Because that's how God sees you. And that's how Source treats you. That's what Source wants for you. So why would you not want that for your loved ones or people in your life? It only makes your life better. Why would you not want that? Okay? If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for them. And what happens is you start changing, and those two small little changes, it will change the way you deal with your family. It will change the way you deal with their friends. And by your example, it will change the way they deal with their friends and family. And then we have something new beginning. And all that old self-concept you spent so much time dealing with and getting rid of and reprogramming your subconscious mind, which I did an absolute podcast on. I still believe in it. But all that work, because you decided to look at it for what it was and not believe it's fact, but it's not true. Okay? It's fact, but it's not true. And you decided to look at things through divine eyes. Life-altering information. Your life will never be the same. 3 days, and you will notice a shift in your being. Okay? Now, let's talk about this story that we've written. Okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about this because I think it goes a little bit deeper than what I have time for. But in any circumstance, okay, all this is to give you power. It's not to take away. It's not to blame you. It's not to say, oh, you shouldn't be this, or this, and you're a bad parent or you're a bad. No, it has nothing to do with that. We're just talking about doing something different, doing something better. Because guess what? You wouldn't be here and listening this far if what you were doing was working, okay? I wouldn't be here this close to the screen going, oh, there's a better way. Divine eyes, pay attention, divine eyes, okay? But here is really some powerful information. And again, I encourage you to check out Tom Kearin, 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 Be Something Wonderful, as he says, does deep dives into this information, backing up with scripture, backing up with teaching, backing everything up, okay? And it just is so clear. So even if this inspired you to look there, go look. I'm not jealous. I am a little. Actually, I'm not. I'm jealous of his way of doing stuff. He's so quirky, and I just can't wait to listen to more. I actually want to get off here so I can go listen to some more. But here's what's really powerful and you need to understand. In any circumstance, it doesn't matter what the circumstance, we have the power to call your desired reality into the midst of any circumstance. What does that mean? We have the power to call the desired reality into any circumstance. We have the power to change the story. Let me correct that last sentence. We have the power to choose a different story. Tom Kearin talks about, and he uses a great visual aid, which I don't have, but he has a great little, looks like a little movie strip. And right now, as we're talking, we're in the now. It's all that there is. You can't change what I just said. I can't change what I'm getting ready to say. Okay, we only have right now this moment. And this moment, I'm living in a script. Okay, I am an actor. I play a role in my life. And that role in my life is whatever I choose it to be based on controlling my state of being. Okay? So I can continue to be insecure, feelings of unworthiness, never chosen. I could continue that. That's one role, and I've played it for a very, very long time. And when I play that role, the other actors and characters in that script will come to support what my state of being is. I will attract those people. They will treat me as if I'm going to be insecure, I'm going to be treated that way. If I'm going to feel like I'm not worth it, I'm I'm going to be treated that way. I'm going to receive reinforcement that that is true. So this is what I decided. I don't like that script anymore, and I don't like that role. I want a new role. And in this role, I am not the damsel in distress. I am amazing. I am confident and strong. I am wealthy. I have the best relationship of anybody I've ever known. I have an amazing family, amazing children, and money flows easily and consistently in my life daily. And guess what? The characters in my life support that story because I changed it. I don't want to live in poverty. I don't want to live unfulfilled. I don't want to live in a job I hate. I don't want to do that. I don't want unhappy children. I don't want to dread my kids coming home. I don't want to worry. Okay? It sounds like a dream state, doesn't it? Well, it is. Because how do you know what role you want to play, and how do you know what life you want to live unless you imagine it? Okay? You have to dream about it. You have to think about it. You have to remove yourself, not ignore. Take a break, 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes. And as you get better at it, you're going to want 10 minutes. I have to have my 10 minutes. Like a cup of coffee. It's going to be, you're going to desire the 10 minutes to desire more. And because in that imagination, you're clarifying, creating this brand new story that you get to play the starring role. So I hope that's made some sense. Again, Tom Caron, Be Something Wonderful. He explains it so much better. I just get super excited and keyed up. And I love stories because I'm a writer. And I love the ease in which we can live. The ease of which we can create change in our life. Face the facts, but discover the truth. Face the facts until they are no more and discover the truth. Watch part 1. Number 2, divine eyes, guys. Divine. Divinity is right here. It's right here. It's within us. Move out of the way. See as God sees. Let him see. Let Source see through your beautiful eyes. Okay? And then third, you don't like your story, rewrite it. Rewrite it. Didn't say, none of that. Ignore your current. You need your current. You know why you need it? Because if it's not a good one, then you say, yeah, I'm not doing that. You need something relative. You got to compare. It's law of relativity. I did a podcast on that. So I hope that helps. It's some simple things. And again, I'm not trying to take away the difficulty that some have in doing this. I'm just not going to feed it. I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to look at you as an impossible situation. I'm not going to look at you as there's no way out. I'm not going to look at you like that. I'm looking at you with divine eyes. And with all that divinity, you are everything you want to be. You already are. You just have to choose it, okay? Reach out. Love to hear some thoughts. You can email me at commongirlcreations at gmail.com. You can go over to YouTube. You can follow me on any of the social media platforms at Common Girl Creations. You can send me a message. You can also look at my website. Create lots of home decor and fashion designs. I do like 14 different things because that's what I do. And it's really been a pleasure. And so, yeah, go back and watch the other one. Follow up with this one. Yes, I'm wearing the same clothes because I really did this back to back. I hope it has made an impact. I hope it touches you. And come back and listen for more.